Welcome to Elevate the Game, where DFW's top leaders drop gems on success, strategy, and legacy with your hosts Jorge Abreu and Eric Badiwala. Let's get into it.
Today, I'm joined by Thomas Gooch, a software developer who built his career in tech over the past 3 years and is passionate about mentoring junior developers. His journey highlights hot new skills and innovation and how they're creating opportunities for the next generation entering the technology industry. Thomas, great to have you on the show. If you can,
George, thanks for having me.
absolutely. If you can just give us a quick snapshot of, what you're doing now and kind of what led you into that.
Yeah, so right now, I'm a full-time developer for Tokyo Electron, but on the side, I have my own side business called Midnight Oil Software, and it's where I pick up side work, short-term contracts, part-time work on the side, developing software for businesses, organizations, individuals, um, whatever needs to be done. And in like my spare time, on top of that, I volunteer with Dallas software developers doing some of their cohorts where we take 5 to 10 junior engineers that usually haven't worked in tech yet, and we put them through a 6 week program where we solve a real world problem. Right. So right now I've got a cohort that's going and we're building a tutoring center. So we're like reimagining a tutoring center website and software that runs it. So how to pay for the classes, how to schedule the type of tutor you want, looking at the ROI metrics of your student improving and that kind of stuff. It's really fun and it's fast paced. It's only 6 weeks and it goes by so fast. But it's free. DSD doesn't charge anybody from it. It's ran on volunteer labor. And at the end, they have this awesome software package that they can talk about in an interview. And a lot of these folks have gone on to move in tech specifically because of the experience they got with Dallas software developers.
Nice, nice. Thank you for that. Really like the Midnight Oil name. I think that's great for your freelance business there. Um,
Yeah, so it's, after hours, right? So,
yep, yep, burning that midnight oil.
yeah,
And I love what you're doing with the juniors, right? And helping them out, giving them some experience and something that they can build their resume on. I think that's great. Um, so you're in the tech space. A lot of competition there. I guess what would you say is one thing that sets you apart and has helped you grow in your career?
I mean, determination and drive. You have to believe in yourself that you can do it. And I think a lot of people start down this path because they want to do it, but they don't believe in themselves enough. And so they quit. Like we see so many people that become fully functional as an engineer, but never land a job because they give up on themselves. Right.
Hmm.
There's luck about it. Right. So I've been lucky enough to be professionally employed for the last 3 years. I spent 3 years teaching myself how to develop, and a lot of it was luck. A recruiter contacted me on LinkedIn and came to me and said, "Hey, I've got this job. It looks like you're right in for it." Okay, and here I am today, and enjoying my time very much. Tokyo Electron's headquartered in Austin, and I work on the business applications team. And so it's really fulfilling work. It's exciting. We're doing all kinds of neat stuff on a regular basis with different technologies.
Nice, nice. So what's maybe if someone's listening here and they want to get better at their career, what's one thing you would suggest they do?
Build stuff, solve problems, make a clone of a website, go and make your own Twitter, go and make your own Instagram, right? Inside and out, make it, polish it and make it great and show somebody. You can learn through tutorials and online courses just fine, but you really learn when you try to solve problems that you don't know how to solve.
So find a problem and then build a solution.
Right.
Again, nice, nice. Um, I'm sure you've ran into challenges over the years. What's maybe one that stands out to you and how did you overcome it?
Yeah, I think like it's called DSA in the tech universe, data structures and algorithms, and it's a set of like trivia that employers will ask you so that you can prove that you know what you're doing.
Hmm.
And philosophically, everyone hates DSA because it's trivia that's not really used in the job. They will ask you questions about sorting a binary tree. almost nobody sorts a binary tree in their job. And if they do, you can look it up in 5 minutes, right? You don't have
Yeah.
to memorize that stuff. Most developers don't memorize all their code. They memorize like how it works in a general sense, and they look up syntax as they're going. Senior developers do have a lot of memorization involved, but for the most part, developers aren't just memorizing every last thing they can about the code, right? They look it up and they use reference materials for it.
Interesting. I didn't know that. I'm an engineer, but not software engineer. Um, I tried that for a semester and decided not to go that path. But yeah, I really thought you had
It's
to
not for
memorize it all, so
everybody.
that makes sense. Um,
Yeah.
and what's maybe something that comes easy to you that others find very challenging? Anything that
I
comes to
have
mind?
this knack for finding an unconventional solution, right? You set me down with 10 other engineers and solve the problem, and I'm going to solve it in the weirdest way that no one else would have thought of. And a lot of times that's very beneficial in the software world because that's how new language and or existing languages evolve, is by doing something an original developer didn't expect you to do and finding out, hey, this works this way. We didn't know that. And what features can I build off of that? And so that's really like one of the things that gets me by a lot is finding interesting ways to do things that someone didn't think about in the beginning.
Is that kind of like the ability to think outside the box and not just
Yeah, and
get
it's
stuck
it's
in
like my
the
brain's never been inside the box. I
yeah.
just have always been a weird one that way. My
Nice,
brain is
nice.
just wired differently, and so I see things very differently, and I end up with different solutions.
Yeah, could definitely see how that's helpful. So it sounds like, the past few years you've been pretty focused on your career and a lot of professional and business owners start looking towards the future as they're building their active income, but also start looking towards maybe some passive income and what happens once that active income comes to a halt or just building up for the future. Is there anything that you've started doing on that end? What are your thoughts about that?
I mean, what was in the pipeline was real estate until we had the recent market trouble, right?
Yeah.
Um, and so going from a non-developer to a developer, my salary over doubled, right? Um, with that alone, it was amazing. It was life-changing, right? What was much previously much more impossible to spend time, like I was working two jobs. I don't have to work two jobs anymore. I do because I've gotten used to being busy and I like to be busy, right?
Right.
And then I've got two kids to put through college, right? So um, that's where my money goes at the moment. So that's my bigger investment, right? My retirement's going to be one of my kids, right?
Yep.
I always joke to them about that, is I'm going to come live with them.
Nice. Yes. Okay, so you were looking into real estate, but then as the market kind of turned, you kind of decided to pause. Is that
Yeah, for a couple reasons. I don't know if Texas is going to be my forever home. I'm from the Pacific Northwest and I miss it a lot. I don't necessarily miss the cold. I recently went back in the winter and did not enjoy my time. I've gotten so used to the heat here in Austin, that the cold is not necessarily the best, but I do miss the beauty of the Pacific Northwest, the outdoor spaces. I mean, where I lived in Corvallis is 60 miles from every type of biome that's in that latitude. You've got the beach, you've got the mountains, you've got sand dunes, you've got lakes, rivers, cities, like you've got everything within 60 miles. And so it was just a sweet spot that you could have whatever you wanted, and just within an hour's drive.
nice? Nice. Yeah, I just got back from Vermont a few days ago, and that cold was brutal for sure.
I bet.
Yeah, I definitely like the Texas weather better, but I get what you're saying. Um, it's a lot more beauty up there for sure.
Yeah.
Um, okay, well, as we begin to wrap up the interview here, any exciting plans or initiatives in the next 6 to 12 months?
I mean, I was working on a Discord clone, due to the recent policy issues with Discord. They had a little shakeup with people concerned about privacy. And so I work with a nonprofit, and so I'm building them a Discord clone. Um, I want it to be very similar in functionality so that it's familiar, because a lot of the folks with the nonprofit I work for aren't necessarily tech savvy. So asking them to learn yet another technology is a barrier to getting volunteers, right? And so I wanted something very similar. So that's what I'm working on at the moment. Also working on a accessible teleprompter service where every other line gets colored a different color to help keep your place as it scrolls. Like, I like the idea of a teleprompter to give a speech, but in my mind, I lose my place because it's scrolling and I look out to the audience and I look back and I have no reference to exactly where I was. But if
Yeah.
every other line is a different color, right, I can locate where I was much, much faster. And so that's currently what I'm working on. And I'm working on to recognize your speech and to scroll with the speed of your speech. And so if you have an X amount of words you want to say a minute, you set that and it starts scrolling at that pace so that you can kind of keep pace with it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I use a teleprompter sometimes when I'm doing some of my social media videos, and I used one that had something similar to what you're saying, but I had to stop using that feature because it just didn't stay with the words where I was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the different color idea. That could definitely help. And then if you can figure it out where it's actually following the words that you're saying, that'd be great.
That's the much more technical piece. Like making the
Yeah,
teleprompter app was super easy. It's not heavy, but getting it to recognize the voice and keep the speed with the pace you want is a little more difficult.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, all right, great stuff, Thomas. Thank you so much for your time today and sharing some insights and tips with us. If someone wanted to get in contact with you, what's the best way they can do that?
Well, LinkedIn is a great place. LinkedIn.com/Thomas Gooch. It's pretty
All
easy.
right. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, we'll make sure we put that in the podcast comments. And thank you very much.
Hey, thanks for having me on. It was a
Yeah,
pleasure.
absolutely.
Thanks for listening to Elevate the Game. If you're a mover and shaker in DFW with game to share, apply to be a guest at elevatethegamepodcast.com/guest.